I hate using the left and right paradigm, but unfortunately in this particular case it needs to be done. The left and the right hold themselves to different regards. Not all the time, but predominantly, and especially when it comes to outrage and moral outrage, because the left seem to harvest it. What I've noticed since I've been doing this is the left literally want to portray themselves as holy, decent, moralistic, caring about the future, caring about the planet, caring about each other, love, peace, all that kind of stuff. But the truth is, when you scratch a little bit deeper, they're actually very different to that. They could almost be the complete opposite in many cases. Some of them are the most vicious, nasty, savage, brutal, sadistic, narcissistic, evil, moralist, baseless creatures going. But they use this cloak of purity so that they can walk between the raindrops, as it were. Now, we're going to talk about a couple of people here, or three actually in particular, Meghan Markle and Harry, and we're going to talk about, what's his name, Clarkson. Now, there are times that I think Clarkson can be an absolute pillock, end of, right? But there are times he's funny, and he does go too far. Now, as for regards to Meghan Markle and Harry, I don't really follow them. I think she's a good-looking girl, but other than that, that's as good as the compliment he's going to get. After that, I think that she's done some pretty low and shite things. As for the Ginge, well, you know, he went in and he served this country. He was funny for a while, but then he got absolutely brainwashed by that little triangle. Many men have. Many strong men have fallen victim to that small area that literally brainwashes many men, and he's literally struck by it. So there you go. But anyway, it turns out that we're going to get onto that. It turned out that Clarkson made some comment that he'd like to see her paraded through the streets naked while people throw excrement at her. What a dumb thing to say, to be honest, and I don't actually understand his thinking behind that. While I don't like the actions that a lot of the left do, I don't see the need to do that. Now, she has done, as I say, some pretty low-down stuff to her own family, to the royal family. She said some pretty grotesque stuff about the British people, but you can't have a go because apparently she's mixed race, or whatever the predominantly, whatever terminology that you people use to describe it. Basically, she's not quite white. Not that I care, as I say. You know, I think she's a good-looking girl, but that's not the reason people are attacking her. But this is the problem. What you do is you say that she's an idiot, but because people want to defend her, they say, well, you can't say that because it's racist. No, I'm talking about her character, not the colour of her skin, you race-baiting weapon. But what this column here is saying, and it's from the Mail, is that why is it that the left and right can hold themselves to different accounts? Now, since he said this comment, and he's actually climbed down off it, personally, I wouldn't have made the comment, but if I'd made the comment, I certainly wouldn't have climbed down, because once they taste blood in the water, that's it, you're nailed. But what he said is that I seem to have upset a lot of people, and I'll make an effort not to do it anymore. Well, that's your entire... You know, you cause outrage. That's what you do. You know, you say stuff that's a bit close to the. That's why people like you. However, it seems that since he's done that, that guy from I think it's Nature Watch, Chris something or other, in with a lisp, has said that he wants to see him prosecuted for a hate crime. Another person's come out and said that they want to see a hate crime, and if there isn't any law at the moment, the law needs to be changed so we can do him for a hate crime, so he'll go to prison. He just doesn't like the woman. Now, a lot of them are saying, oh, well, it's misogynistic. Good. Well, we need misogyny to combat misandry at the moment, which is on the rise. A lot of you won't like that. Good. But apparently, what this paper's done is put a few remarks together to see what the left say when they're annoyed or outraged on somebody else's, because this is outrage on somebody else's behalf. Also, this comment has been the most complained about comment ever. That's amazing. These people are massively offended by that, but they're not offended by kids getting raped by grooming gangs up north. They don't seem to be bothered by that. You know, they're not bothered about all sorts of other really, really bad stuff because, well, that would look bad in front of our woke friends, wouldn't it? So we'll just go with this because this looks good and we can virtue signal. I'm sick of virtue signaling. It's weakening this country. So, acid remarks about Farage. Yep. During Britain's last round of the European Parliament elections in 2019, Nigel Farage, the leader of the Brexit Party, had milkshakes thrown over him. He wasn't the only one. When we were out with Tommy Robinson and Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, both of them had milkshake thrown over them on a regular basis, and the problem we had is we wondered that at some point, because the rumour was going around, somebody was going to throw acid over one of them or us. So that was a constant worry for us. But anyway, said a few days later, comedian Jo Brand said on Radio 4, she's a vile creature, by the way, why bother with milkshake when you could just get some battery acid? But that's the kind of thing that the raging lefty lunatics say. What else is there? Just saying that, I'm not going to, but it's purely fantasy, but I think milkshakes are pathetically honestly do. In spite of acid attacks being a very serious problem, a murder of Labour MP Joe Cox, this is the thing, one MP's been done, all right, Joe Cox, sad thing, right? However, there's a grey area about actually who did it, who was responsible, whatever, but they bring this up all the time, the left. Poor Joe Cox this, poor Joe Cox that. But yet, I mean, enough acid over a human being, what could that do apart from disfigure him permanently? Well, it could cause a heart attack and that could lead to death, all sorts of stuff. So what are they wishing on? Now, let's see, a bad end for Boris. There's another one. This week's children's author, Sir Philip Pullman, described Clarkson's column as poison, yet in 2019, when the debate over the Brexit withdrawal bill was reaching its heated climax, Sir Philip weighed in tweeting, "When I hear the name Boris Johnson, for some reason the words rope and nearest lamppost come to mind." Well, so yeah, that's not exactly encouraging him to do well. Gove looks like a fetus. What's that? Fulton's taunt. Anyway, yeah, Sandy Totsvid saying that Gove looked like a fetus. What else was she saying? Face that makes even most people, a pacifist, want to reach out and hit it with a shovel. We'll say he's not the most attractive man in the world. Sick jibe over what's that? Gravely ill PM. So, in addition, Channel 4's late night comedian show, The Last Leg, in May 2020, just days after Boris Johnson was narrowly escaped death from COVID, actress Miriam Margolyes, never heard of her, attacked the government's handling of the pandemic before adding, "I mean, I had difficulty not wanting Boris Johnson to die." Brilliant. That's the ever tolerant and loving left, all right? Bovine attack on Priti Patel. Yep, they came out with she had horns and she was made to look fat and the ring through her nose. Personally, I think Priti Patel's quite fit, but I don't like her as a person. The Guardian was never slow to call out racism, whether real or imagined, but in March 2020, they did not stop the paper publishing a drawing by its in-house cartoonist, Steve Bell, depicting the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, as a bull, sitting alongside Boris Johnson, also as a bull. In the Commons, yeah, not very good at all. Ding dong, Thatcher's dead. Do you remember them all jumping around and celebrating and being all over the place when the woman died? Yeah, that was hardly tasteful. Superficially black insult. Do you remember that? The former Chancellor, Kwasi Kwarteng, was roundly condemned for his botched mini budget. But the comments that stands out was speaking at a Labour Party conference, the Ealing Central, and Acton MP, Rupert, whatever his chops is, described the then Chancellor as superficially black. So because he didn't have the same policies as him, he can't be black. Great. Rayner's Tory arse scum rant, brilliant. Wishing the Queen a painful death. Who did that? Some little, yeah, Uni Anya. Oh, who gives a shit? Some foreigner anyway. But yeah, I can't even pronounce it. But yeah, so the left just get away with saying whatever they want, and they don't hold themselves to any account. Do you remember that when the pandemic struck, they actually wanted anybody who didn't take the vaccine to not be administered any first aid and let them die? Let that sink in. Anybody who doesn't follow us and take the medical procedure, we want them to die. Brilliant. Ever tolerant, ever loving, and ever hating on their own kind. Amazing. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to move on to the next story. Probably have something to eat now. I'm starving. But this is something we know about the left. They make themselves out to be something that they're not. It would be like saying, marketing yourself as a sports car when actually all you are is a 1.1 Fiesta with a bit of a flared body arches. You're fake. You're false. You don't do what you say you do. But also, the way they round each other up, and any one of them who doesn't think the same, they'll all dogpile it and misquote them and say, so what you're saying is, and what you really mean is, and what you really want is. No, it's not what we say at all, but this is what you do to scare anybody from stepping outside of your circle. Then you set in a beautiful little echo chamber where you get more extreme in your views, and the next one who gets more extreme gets hailed as a beautiful person and all the rest of it. You make me sick. But there you go. Anyway, as I say, on to the next. I'll see you soon.